Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Victoria Terry with Health and Harmony. I want to take a minute to just say that the information that you will hear in this podcast is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any ailment. So with that said, I want to move right into what we're talking about. We're talking about pH. pH. There's so many people that have so many different opinions on pH, and I'm going to just kind of bring that together very quickly, very briefly. What exactly is pH and how does it affect your personal health and wellness program or your overall health? pH in its accurate terms means potential hydrogen. I call it perfect health. But basically it's a single atom of hydrogen. What we need to understand that every single atom of hydrogen has one negative or anionic charge of electricity, and it has one positive or cationic charge of electricity. So, in measuring pH, we are measuring the resistance or the friction between the anions and the cations, or the electrical charges and the direction that they're moving. How does this deal with you and your pH? What has all that got to do? Well, the bottom line comes to this. When you understand that pH is the measurement of speed or the resistance within the digestive system, in other words, how fast or slow is the digestive speed moving, then you will be able to understand how important pH really is to any nutritional program. You see, if it is an alkaline or an anionic state, it's moving way too slow, possibly creating constipation, some inflammation, some parasite activity. I mean, all of that, digestive issues. If it's acidic or cationic, it's moving way too fast, and it's causing possibly diarrhea. You're not getting your minerals. Either way, whether it's too slow or too fast, you're not able to absorb the minerals because it's going so slow that the minerals are not assimilated fast enough to be able to be taken in and used for energy. If it's going too fast, the same thing. It's just going so fast that it can't grab those minerals so that they can be assimilated and broken down for energy. I will say this though, pH gives an accurate picture of what is really going on within the entire body system. Let me explain this. We know that the pH of the blood has to stay within a particular range, between 7.35 to 7.45. Otherwise, death occurs. There's no other way around that one. So if the saliva and urine pH is anything other than perfect at 6.4, we know that the system is doing all that it can to protect itself and keep the blood pH in balance. So if the pH is the saliva and urine, which is easily detected, okay, outside of a blood test, if it's cattywampus all the time, we know that the body is just playing havoc. It's just like robbing over here to pay Paul, okay, so that we can stay alive. This means that it's robbing in areas that, such as and mineral, chemical, whatever it needs, hormones, whatever it needs. It's robbing it from the bones, the muscles, the tissues, the organs, the cells, and even the glands. The entire body is affected. So pH is basically an indication of how the body is capable of uptaking minerals and nutrients or not. If we break it down, we can look at it like this. The urine pH tells how the digestion is working down in the small and large intestines. It tells what's happened after the digestion's complete, or the outcome of what happened in the digestive system as a result of liver enzyme production. Where saliva indicates the strength of the liver and its ability to create enzyme production in order to assist in the breakdown of foods. In other words, what is happening as the food goes in. In a more advanced understanding of pH, we would note that there are several different patterns within a pH, within pH balances. But a lot of the practitioners that use the advanced pH understanding and principles use about 5 patterns, and I'm going to go quickly through them. Pattern number 1 is perfect health. Both pHs are at 6.4. This has the least amount of symptoms, if we have symptoms at all. Pattern number 2 is a double alkaline or a double anionic. This pattern is indicative to colon toxicities and constipation issues. This is because of the excessive slowness of the digestive speed. Issues that may show up in a double alkaline environment might be things like female issues, hormones, complexion problems, the possibility of dealing with weight, whether overweight or otherwise, as well as parasitic activities. So these are things that we would look at if we had a double alkaline. Now, let me explain to you that pattern number 3 is low-high. Now, when I say low-high, anytime we write pHs down, it's always urine over saliva, like a fraction, 6.4 over 6.4. Okay, so in a low-high, it would be urine below 6.4 and saliva above 6.4. Well, this pattern brings on the feeling of fatigue, a huge energy loss depending on how far apart the numbers actually are. Overall aches and pains, some bloating, a large gut, gas, just basic digestive discomfort in general. And this person might also experience skin rashes and dry skin. That's pretty common in a low-high pattern. The next pattern is high-low. That's urine above the 6.4 and the saliva below 6.4. This pattern shows the possibility of anemias, iron deficiencies, vitamin B deficiencies. Now, we as naturopaths do not use those terms when talking to our client. I'm using them for educational purposes only because we are traditional naturopaths. We are not licensed medical professionals. Okay? Some digestive issues might occur, some possible leg cramping, and that's due to the calcium utilization issue. The body cannot utilize calciums, and let me explain to you that there are 250,000 different types of calcium, so we have to know what the urine pH is in order to determine which calcium you need. Do we use all 250,000 of them? Nope. We have access to us 6. But we use 5, as one of them is very toxic if you choose wrong. Okay, so we might even have some aching in the bones in the lower part of the body with a high-low pattern. Now the next pattern is a low-low pattern, meaning both pHs are below 6.4. Now in this pH pattern, the digestive speed is extremely fast, meaning malnourishment is probably taking place because it's as a result of not being able to get minerals and nutrients for energy out of the food that we take in. This is a really interesting. Low is one that you know, if you have to be in any pH other than perfect health, low is one you don't want to be in. Why? Because not only do we have nourishment, malnourishment, we have a loss of minerals. When we have a loss of minerals, that's when disease and illness begins. Things like emotional stress, depression, anxiety, nervousness, even mood swings are likely to occur during a low pattern. And in this pattern, with a chronic pH being low all the time, we may even see some damage done to a few of the organs like the kidneys, the bladder, and even heart tissue. Okay, so there's the 5 patterns. Now, let me give you an example of cationic or acidic, an acidic state. Let's talk about the urine. If I saw a constant acid urine all the time, I would look for possible reproductive issues, adrenal fatigue, muscle cramping, calcium deficiencies. If I saw a saliva that was chronically always in the acid or cationic state, I would look for liver and lung issues. I would even ask possibly had this person been exposed to chemicals over time. And I would also investigate the possibility of a B12 anemia. So these are just a few of the suggestions or the things that I would look for. Now, what would I suggest to someone in these states? Well, right off, I suggest calcium gluconate to every one of my clients. That's something that the liver needs, calcium. So important to have calcium. Liver has to have it in order to be able to utilize the oxygen to the cells. And there's so much more to it than that. I'm not even going to go into it. But I give every client calcium gluconate. Depending on if they're in a cationic state, whether it be urine or saliva, I would give them vitamin D and they would do that only until they get to perfect health, which is 6.4, or on your sticks it would be 6.5. I would have them doing onion soup because onion soup is very high in vitamin C. Now, I'm not talking about the canned soup. I'm talking about making your own soup. You get some scallions, the green onions. You get a bunch of those. You get like 1 or 2 bunches to 4 cups of distilled water. You put it on a moderate heat, let it boil down until the onions are clear. Season your onion soup, throw the waste away, and drink the onion soup. It's the best way to get vitamin C into the body very quickly. During the cold and flu seasons, this is what I would do. Again, I would only use that vitamin C until my pH reached perfect health, or 6.4. Again, on your sticks at 6.5. The other thing that I would add, and I would continue to do this, is digestive enzymes, some food enzymes, as well as liquid chlorophyll. And I would use the liquid chlorophyll only until your pH reaches from a cationic or acid environment. You would use chlorophyll to bring it up to perfect health at 6.4 or 6.5. Okay? And then you stop it. You can just cap it, put it in the fridge. You're going to need it again at some point. Right? The only thing that I continue to work with is the calcium gluconate. And again, depending on the pH of the urine, it determines what calcium that body is asking for. So I love that we can personalize the person's program. Okay, so if the cationic state is excessive, I would also suggest an elimination of animal protein until the cationic issues are under control, because meats overproduce uric acid. Now, very quickly before I go, I'm going to wrap it up here. I ask my clients, I give them the suggestions to eat like a pauper, eat like a prince at breakfast time, eat like a king at lunchtime, and eat like a pauper at dinner time. I actually tell them no meat, no animal protein at night. It's too difficult on the digestive system, and we've got way too much going on to have to try to break it down. We're not going to get into food combining, but I mean, this can get interesting as well as complicated. And we're not wanting to complicate things. Just keep it on the down low and we're good to go. The other thing is that when I work with my clients, I have a list of no foods. It's a very short list. It's an easy list, but it's the only thing they can't eat, no matter on what program. Do remember that anytime you go on a restricted diet, you also restrict your nutrients and your minerals. And any time that there is a mineral deficiency, whether it be 1 or 10, that is when illness and disease is right there at your doorstep. So I want you to be careful. The other thing before I go, I want you to remember that the health of the body is completely dependent on the health of the liver. The liver is the most responsible organ other than the brain in the body. This is Dr. Victoria Terry with Health and Harmony, and I hope that this was informative for you and that you enjoyed pH. And until next time.